What is going on, everyone? It's Ultimate Spy 53 here, and welcome to another episode of Review number 89. And today I'm going to be reviewing Pacific Rim. So, my thoughts on Pacific Rim. Well, honestly, I loved it. I really, truly liked it. It was a really, really good movie. There was a lot I liked about it. I just came out in 2013, and I guess the idea of its name is there's a rim in the earth that is making monsters come out of the rift, and it's the Pacific Ocean or something like that. I don't know. But essentially, that's the idea. Is it's these monsters are attacking all over the earth, and you know, I don't even know what it takes place exactly. I just know that um, it's sometime in the future, because they did mention the year 2017, which is obviously this year, but it does take place in the future because of the technology they have, and the idea of the movie is obviously that they don't know what they're gonna do about this threat, so they build these giant robot monster thingies to fight the monsters, Kaiju. And it's a really good movie. There are some problems with it. I will. Well, at least some people have problems with it. I didn't have problems. I thought it was freaking awesome. I thought it was generally an awesome movie, especially with the idea of the kaiju and the Jaeger, which are the robot mech thingies that two people control, fighting against them, and that was a really cool. It felt like a video game almost. It kind of like felt like a the monster fighting the robot kind of thing. That's why I liked it so much. And the really cool thing about this movie, in particular, was the fact that Ellen McLean, who voiced GLaDOS in both Portal games, she voices Gypsy Danger, which is like the most advanced or best Jaeger out there, and that was a really cool thing. And she's actually returning in the sequel, which is actually coming out in March. This coming March, there's a sequel coming out, which makes it about a 5-year difference, but it is coming out, and it's it's called Pacific Rim Uprising. It's a really cool name for it. But yeah, honestly, I thought this movie was freaking awesome. It was honestly a really good movie, and I loved it. I loved every aspect of it, just the simple plot of it, and it was also the cast. It had a pretty good cast. I only recognized like one actor in the entire movie, and that was Idris Elba, who he's a British actor. He plays Heimdall in Thor movies, and he's not gonna be returning in this movie, in the new movie, because apparently his character passes away, something like that. I don't really know what the deal is, because in the movie he has a problem where he's sick or something. I don't know, but I really thought this movie was great. It was a really, really good movie, because it's a classic, monster movie, better than Godzilla. Although it didn't come out when Godzilla came out. This movie came out before Godzilla came out. The really more or less bad Godzilla movie that didn't have much Godzilla in it. But honestly, I really think this movie did well. It got, or it's I think it scored around like $400 something million or something like that. I don't even know what the percentage of Rotten Tomatoes was, but I really enjoyed it. I thoroughly liked the action sequences, because it kind of felt like a video game. Because it felt like you have two pilots per Jaeger, and then they're like fighting in the kaiju they're attacking. And it turns out the kaiju they're like attacking the city that in order or something. It was actually a really cool idea, and honestly, I liked it a lot. I love the different aspects of the movie. The different kaiju they were obviously not real because that was all CG, but just the idea of the movie itself, Pacific Rim, it makes up for a really awesome movie. Not like a superhero movie, but like it definitely has that action-packed stuff in it. It's science fiction, so we have the movie's setting has advanced. It's in the future, several years in the future. So we have, they have like holograms and stuff and technology, but they don't like have everything. But it's still a very enjoyable movie. I really liked it. Now, the reason why I liked it so much is because of the action and the fact that it's robots versus kaiju, and it's awesome. And then they don't know what they're gonna do. They keep losing Jaeger because the whole idea of the story revolves around this guy named Riley who it's like from his perspective, and he tells up the story about how these kaiju kept attacking them, and that it just kept happening. And they didn't know what to do. They made these monsters, and then of course you have this Japanese girl who comes along, and she's basically been raised by the marshal, who's played by Idris Elba. And unfortunately, her backstory is that she lost her family in a kaiju attack that happened. Where I think it was Idris Elba's character was in that Jaeger when that attack happened, and so it's like she's having all this trauma happen to her, and it's actually kind of sad, but it also shows how you can't really power Jaeger that two people. And that's what the problem was with when they were doing the Jaegers. It was like this horrible thing where they had to like test to make sure it worked, and turn out you couldn't work unless you had two pilots. So and the reason why I liked the Jaeger's design so much in this movie in particular is because of the way that it's unison. So you have two pilots, and they work like the one pilot on the left works as an arm and a leg, and the other pilot in the other seat works as the other arm and leg. So like they both work as all four limbs of the thing, but on opposite sides, which is really cool. And they work in unison, so they can like use punch, or in this case, sword with the last minute. Now that was the thing that people thought was like, what took them so long to use that weapon? It's like I think it was like, I don't know, halfway through the movie where they finally got the chance to use a sword. It's like I think CinemaSins complain about that. It's like, well, Mako had said we have one last thing left. It was basically a last resort, so they had no other options. But no, they had one more option they could do. They couldn't figure out anything else, and they didn't even realize they had it. So the CinemaSins was complaining about was like, oh, why didn't you use the sword to begin with? Well, they didn't know they had it. So that was the whole thing, is they did not know they had that. And the interesting thing about that is the fact that the sword is really cool. I mean, it is cool. The sword, it transforms, it goes, and like kind of this little transformer thing, and then it becomes a sword, and it's really fucking awesome. But overall, the design of the kaiju are really cool. You got these gaping mouths, and they just like emit this blue turquoise goo stuff. It's really gross, but also Ron Perlman makes an appearance in this movie as this black arms dealer guy, who I don't really know much about the actor. I don't even know. I think I've only seen him in this movie, maybe a couple. I don't even know. Like, I know he was in Hellboy, but I never watched the movies. I just haven't. I'm not sure I'd like that. I think they're generally horror movies. I think the idea of that. I don't know, but he played this guy who's this complete jackass, and he didn't really care about anything. He just didn't care. He didn't give a shit, and he was in the movie, and Charlie Day's character, who's this nerdy scientist guy who like studies the kaiju, and he minds them, he finds out what they're on about, and he goes to him, and then he finds out that the kaiju that they have that's been defeated is pregnant, causing another kaiju to come out and eat the jackass guy that is played by Ron Perlman. But honestly, it's the action sequences that really get me. It's the action sequences where you have all these fighting, and it's just awesome. It's just really awesome, and that's why it was just like a monster movie that really is honestly better than Godzilla, even though it didn't come out when Godzilla came out. But it's still a much better monster movie. They have a really good plot with it. They know how to tell a story with robots fighting kaiju monsters, and that was really cool. It's more than that, just that. It's also like they give a backstory on Maku. They show how Jaegers actually work, and they have this whole thing where they show like these like the entire place where the Jaegers are built, and just show the relationship between Riley and Mako, and it's a really crazy strong relationship how they develop, and it's just I find it really interesting how that was developed a lot. I mean, especially since Mako was raised by the Marshal, and he's a very interesting character. He has a way with dealing with things, and that's why I liked it so much. It was such a it's a good, generally a good movie, and it came out in 2013. So by the time the sequel comes out, it'll have been 5 years, and I'm very excited for the sequel because it looks like a really cool movie. Honestly, the sequel looks like it's gonna be better than the first one because the first one, well, the reason why the second one is gonna be better is because it looks like more like team up, and the first one we thought the rift was closed. That was the idea. The idea of the first one was that it ended, so it wouldn't be a sequel, and that was the part of it that I really kind of felt like it didn't need a sequel. But I suppose that people wanted it, and I think it deserves to have a second chance with it. And some movies out there just don't need a sequel, but I can see this happening, and I'm really excited for the new one because it looks like a really good movie. But for this first one, I'm very surprised to know that Charlie Hunnam, played Riley, is not going to be in the sequel, which is confusing because at the end of the first one we saw him basically hugging Mako. They're not in a relationship, which is I was hoping for that actually. They were just hugging because it turns out that's like they actually become friends in the end, but he's not going to be in the sequel, which is confusing because like what's happening? Where is he going? Because the whole movie is a bunch of just action sequences where they're just fighting the kaiju, where the kaiju are just like demolishing the person. There's a big thing for Riley's character where his brother dies at the hand of a kaiju who like before Maku comes into the role of his co-pilot. His brother is the one who isn't with him the first time. That's why the initially, I believe the idea is that the movie, the next part of the movie when Riley's character comes back, he is the one like he's been like 5 years since he was in a Jaeger, and it was because the 5 years ago he lost his brother, and it was in a Jaeger, and he's asked to come back to fight the monsters again because they're still there, and he lost his brother, and he's the same traumatizing because every time because basically how the Jaeger works is the two co-pilots of the Jaeger have to like sync themselves, they have like to bond their minds, whatever, and see. I don't know. It's confusing. It's this weird mumbo jumbo, but it's really quite interesting, and it was just the fact that that's the way it works, and they're giant machine, they're giant robot things, but also they're not indestructible, and that's the fun about movies that's like this, is that you can't have a monster movie where the hero of the story, like a robot, can be indestructible, because that's not fair. So I like how they did that. I like how it worked in the point where the kaiju and the Jaeger were not indestructible. The kaiju did have a weakness, but they weren't indestructible, and they just kept coming. Although that there was a reason why. I like how they solved it. They gave a reason for it. There's a lot of really like gross parts about the kaiju, like finding out that one of them is pregnant, having Ron Perlman's character get swallowed, and then the post-credit scene where he actually comes out of the baby kaiju, and which is like, oh, is he coming back? No, he just happens to be alive, but his character's not coming back, which is just like sad. But I really genuinely like this movie. It was a really good movie. I mean, I've only seen it. This is my second time seeing it. I didn't see it in theaters. There's a lot of movies out there that I don't get a chance to see in theaters, and I miss out on them. Not all of them, just like several of them that I never got to see in the theaters the first time. And there's like all these movies coming out, the sequels, movies I haven't seen. In this particular movie, I'm generally excited for the sequel because it sounds like most of the cast are returning, just maybe in the succession of Charlie Hunnam's Riley, which I don't really understand what's happened to him. So what they might do is they might write out his character, like he's just not around right in the second movie. or something, because I just looked at a report on the Wikipedia page that actually could be making a third movie. They had like a plan for a third movie, which is good. But that's something we got because like a big thing about that. I mean, also I love the science fiction vibe about it because you have this the future of the world where the government has enough money to actually buy resources to make giant robots, and they have this science fiction thing where they like the technology they have, the machinery, the giant ass warehouses, factories, all that stuff. It's really quite cool, and the design of the Jaeger pilots are really cool. They kind of remind me of Spartans combined with Hunger Games white trooper thingies, the Hunger Games troopers, and I don't know, that's pretty much all I can say about that particular thing. But overall, this movie was a very excellent movie. Although I don't really see problems with it. I think it was pure epicness and awesomeness. A robot fighting a monster, which is honestly pretty cool, and having the sword, having them slice the thing over, and having them go for the rift. It was almost just action. It was really fucking awesome to see the robots fighting the kaiju, because there aren't a lot of kaiju movies out there. The recent one that came out was Godzilla, but this one came out before Godzilla came out. I liked it. I will say this about the movie that I really was hoping for, but didn't actually happen, and that's the character of Maku, who becomes his co-pilot. Like, oh, she's this beautiful Japanese girl, like shortish hair, kind of parted like down here, but like up here. She's short hair, but actually there's a point in the movie where she like you can tell that she like thinks that Riley is cute, but that never happens, and it's like some of those characters in movies where you're hoping that something will happen to them in the end, where something will happen and they'll become a thing, and it didn't happen. It was not a thing at all. They did not become a couple. They just hugged at the very end because they won the battle, and that was it. And nothing like that, because I'm unfortunate that we're not gonna get an answer to that, because the actor who played Riley is not coming back. Although the actress who played Mako has come back. That's just not gonna. There's nothing gonna happen. I imagine since Idris Elba's not come back because of reasons, and also I think he might have been filming Thor at the time, Thor Ragnarok at the time. Then he's not come back. I think that Idris Elba and Charlie Hunnam. Well, Charlie Hunnam couldn't come back because he was doing schedule. He was actually in other movie. I think it might have been King Arthur. I don't know. Probably not. I think it was a movie that's come out next year, but. He and him, both of them, aren't coming back for one reason or another, so we're not going to get a conclusion to where he's been or what happened to him or whatever, and that's the sad part about it. But overall, it's just a really awesome movie. Pacific Rim, totally a great movie. I don't even know what got into Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's awesome. I think it was a very well done movie by Guillermo del Toro, who's a Mexican director. So he hasn't directed anything that I've seen recently at all. He's never directed a single movie besides this one that I've seen. So this is the only movie that I've seen he's directed. But still, I really thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a very good movie. The poster he makes it awesome. It's just one of those really epic monster movies that it's way better than Godzilla, even though it came out before Godzilla came out, like the reboot. And it's honestly a very awesome epic monster movie where it's like all these epic moments where the robots are fighting the monsters. It's just a really cool movie to see all that really cool action, especially the sequels. I mean, could be even more epic, and that was the cool thing about it. But also it's the plot. A big movie can't be complete without a really cool plot, where the story about monsters coming out from a rift, and on orders to attack every city or attack every planet or whatever, and then the next one, because that was what the doctor, or one of the doctor guys, because they kind of form a team, the British doctor and then the Nerd doctor, but one of the two were talking about the idea of that was that the Kaiju were coming through the rift and they were attacking each city by city, and it was to the up to the human side of things, up to the Jaegers humans to defeat those monsters by using the giant Jaeger thingies. But anyway, that's all I can say about Pacific Rim. I think I've rabbled on enough about the movie. It's a really fun movie to watch. If you like monster movies that are not the unworthy Godzilla movie that it was. Yes, I'm going to call it that. I did a review of that movie and it's unworthy. um, but still, very fun movie, very enjoyable, great action sequences, all of it. And that's where the rating system comes in, which I'm going to get out a 10 out of 10. I didn't have any problems with it, honestly. I loved it. I really genuinely loved it. It's a very good movie. I love movies that take place in the future, monster movies, science fiction, kaiju, all of it. I love it. So yeah. Anyway, that does it for my review. I really, really enjoyed this, and I hope you check it out if you get the chance to before you watch before the new movie comes out. Go ahead and check it out. It's a very good watch, and I'm sorry I missed it the first time. Where I was hoping to watch it the first time it came out, but I missed it. So that's just gonna be the way it is sometimes. I don't see every movie that comes out in the theaters because I don't have time. It's physically impossible to see all 52 plus movies that come out every year. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Reviewed. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button. I really do appreciate the support. And if you're new around here, subscribe to become a spy for more great content like this and more episodes. And also hit that notification bell so you can be alerted when new episodes of this series come out. Another series I do, of course. And I'll be back next time with another episode. Alright? See ya.